My top 5 what the heck does Eve mean moments said throughout the campaign of Stellar Blade. With this top 5, I promise you I'll answer, what does she mean within the context of the game? How are other characters affected? What might her expressions mean for the sequel, and much more. We all love Eve when she sounds like a badass heroine.
I'll gladly play my part. Now, come, my comrades.
Smile when she expresses her BFF-ness towards Lily.
No, Lily. It's thanks to you. I was able to come back because of you. Thank you.
And laugh when her budding understanding of human customs is expressed bluntly to the NPCs of Zion.
Well, must be nice. I'm surprised. All this time I thought you were just a freak.
But she's also made statements that have left the community a bit confused.
Angel, that's the unofficial name for members of the Eve Airborne squad.
I'm Eve.
The example of the greeting she has with Digger, along with the other moments in this top 5 list, appear to be dialogue expressed by the Angel that on the surface are left open story threads, with explanations that seem to have been left unanswered. But fret not, with a little digging and explanation I'll share my understanding of what Eve was actually saying and what it all meant. Let's jump into this top 5 and break it all down. Number 5. Fusion Form Personas.
Now, there's nothing stopping us.
Does using the pronoun us give us an answer to what really did happen to Adam upon fusion with Eve? Is more than simply just Adam's blood, and all of the powers of the Elder that come along with that, now within Eve, including Adam's persona. Just prior to Eve making this statement, Lily was trapped inside the Providence. Now that she is free, Eve exclaims that nothing is holding her back. She can now go full tilt against the Providence. But she says us. The us she refers to is not her and Lily. Lily is now hiding behind a rock within the nest. I believe when Eve says us, she is referring to her and Adam's persona now within her. During his monologue, Adam speaks about the Androidos, pointing out that they are made entirely from scratch and void of real human DNA. In his eyes, DNA is one of the essential components, a necessary attribute to truly be considered human. Adam's point of view about what makes up humanity influences how we interpret one of the core themes of Stellar Blade, what it means to be human. Adam's view brings up the biological argument, the point of view that it is nature that makes an individual be considered human. Following this line of thought, technically speaking, Adam is truly the last human left on Earth, considering his organic human DNA runs throughout his body. Although he has now evolved into being Naytiba, he and all other Naytiba still hold the original biological markers and human genome that is human DNA. But he is the only Naytiba that has not succumbed to their hostile nature. On the flip side to this is the argument of nurture, that it is the care and nurture that is built through interactions over time with one another is what actually develops humanity in individuals. This is what we see occur in Eve. She is void of human DNA, any natural trace of being a real organic human. She was created in the colony by Mother Sphere, but she shows humanity through the relationships she forms, everything done to and for her, as well as all of her interactions that culminate in the various bonds with so many of the citizens of Zion, Lily, and even Adam. Through fusion, by the end of the game, she now holds humanity within her, from both a nature and nurture standpoint. Her biological makeup is now part Naytiba. Her unicinous body frame has now been biologically altered to carry Naytiba blood throughout her. She is now the Elder in all sense and capacity, with various powers, what appear to be telekinesis and other fantastical abilities. Not to mention the most important of all, the power of creation. Creating a Garden of Eden seems like it will be a big part, if not the central focus, of Stellar Blade 2. In addition to taking on Mother Sphere, Eve and company will answer the question so many of us are wondering. Will Eve's newly acquired abilities as the new Elder produce a way to create life? And what will this look like? Besides fusion, Adam never figured this out. We saw large embryos, flying jellyfish, and stillborn Naytiba formed in the nest. But it seemed that he never was able to create more human-appearing life. part of Eve's new journey in the sequel, if the Making New Memories ending will be considered canon moving forward, will be about how Eve learns to understand and use her new abilities as the Elder. In fusion form, she is incredibly OP, but there is a potential for her to explore a number of other non-combat based abilities, one being the power of creation. If Adam's persona, including his memories and knowledge of the past, are now within Eve, this would allow her much better access to and understanding of what she can now do. If his essence is retained within Eve, she could somehow communicate with it/him. I don't imagine it would look like Eve having a splintered personality where she is displaying different identities one at a time, or having conversations with herself with different personalities boiling up to the surface like McAvoy did in Split. Remember, it was Eve who remained after fusion. Adam fused into her. I don't believe this led to a split personality or dual identity, but by hearing her say quote-unquote us, it appears that she is in acknowledgement that he is within her now, and for her to have access to everything of the Elder, of Adam, and in my opinion most importantly Raphael Marx, gives her not only the incredible abilities of the Elder, but also a wealth of understanding and knowledge of the entire history of humanity, opening up so many possibilities for Shift Up to deliver us what we've been wanting. A better understanding of what came before Stellar Blade, a better understanding of the past, which Raphael Marx lived in as the CEO of Eidos Industrial. Raphael Marx/Adam was around during both wars. He was somewhere around Earth, roaming the ending days of the final war when Mothersphere enacted the colony extinction, and he likely experimented on various angels of Waves 2 through 6 before Eve's Wave 7 dove to Earth. There is so much rich storytelling potential to play out if more than just Adam's blood is within Eve, and I think Eve's statement within the nest when she is taking on the Providence gives us hope that his persona and memories will be along for the ride with Eve, now fused as the new Elder in the sequel. Number 4. Aversion to water.
How come you don't like swimming?
I don't really know. I guess it just makes me think back to when I was born.
I believe Eve's ongoing aversion to water is conveyed throughout Stellar Blade in order to show another difference between real organic humans and androids. When Mothersphere enacted reclassification, there were some things she could not replicate in her new humans in a one-to-one match from the old organic human society and way of life. One of those such things had to do with creation. Stellar Blade's primary theme centers around answering the question, what does it mean to be human? Or you could rephrase this, what does being human really mean? There are so many pillars of being human, but one of our primary ones is our ability to reproduce, to choose a partner and pass on our genetic makeup to our offspring. Our children become the fusion of two pools of genetic makeup from the father and the mother. But this technical term is only that. These are the mechanics of reproduction. There is so much more beyond that. My life completely changed and continues to be shaped by the birth and life of my young son. My life is full of emotions that shape me as a human that derive solely from the birth and life of my own son. Real organic human beings experience the full array of feelings throughout the entire journey of human creation. Think of the major events in the process and all of the emotions that come with them. Choosing a partner, having sex, the mother carrying the unborn child for 9 months, the father doing everything in his power to prepare for and support his soon-to-be new family. And then think of the fetus, the baby, while inside the womb, the unbreakable and solely unique bond the mother and child create over 9 months, all of the sounds, lullabies, greetings, and affectionate interactions that the unborn child hears from their loving family that has surrounded the mother during her pregnancy, the play of light it sees from the warm sun and interactions from eager siblings, or the touch from a mother's hand, all of which is occurring within the warm body of a mother that is solely their own, enveloped in a womb full of water, a safety harness where they can grow and develop, coming to term. Contrast this with the Andro Eidos human. Korean musician BB's official Stellar Blade music video shows how an Andro Eidos is formed, within a mechanical, dank compound, within sterile tubes positioned in isolation with little interaction from outside sources or individuals. Similar to the Ghost in the Shell franchise, I can imagine Andro Eidos body frames are first put together on a robotic assembly line, then placed within liquid for the final step of fusing human mimicking skin, flesh, and hair to the body frame. BB's music video also reveals that the AI housed is already within the body frame's brain when the Andro Eidos is in the water-filled tank. BB, dressed in black, a representation of Mothersphere, then walks up to the Andro Eidos within the tank and touches it, activates the AI brain, giving the android within the tank individuality, life. At this moment, all memories are given to them within the liquid tank, but this process is scattery as everything that makes them who they are, their memories, thoughts, personality, etc., come into their AI brain. They are essentially being born all at once within milliseconds. This could likely be a traumatic experience. They then must somehow come out of the tank of water. There is no OBGYN or midwife giving birth, handing them over into a loving mother's arms, but instead a cold, sterile, and isolated experience of exiting the tube of water and entering into whatever messed up way of life exists on the colony. They are likely still coming into their own as an individual, and everything that occurred in this probably traumatic experience of exiting the tube of water, void of any nurturing or loving experiences that occurs in the real organic human pregnancy process, which has created a negative association with their quote-unquote birth. And the water of their birthing process, something that for real humans has a positive association and general comfortability, is the complete opposite for the Andro Eidos humans, and a negative association remains. Andro Eidos do have a subconscious. This cold experience of their birth is probably buried into their subconscious, and any interactions with water that is associated with the cold nature of their experience coming into existence on the colony, brings up a negatively associated memory and overall feeling. These memories within Eve's subconscious are what she feels, water that was part of her mechanical and unsettling birth into the colony. Number 3. The Eve Airborne Squadron. The Eve Airborne Squadron contains members who are by design all similar. There seems to be one that Mothersphere creates with added abilities that Mothersphere has predicted will have the potential to carry out the Eve protocol. For various reasons, some of the squad members Taki, an abbreviation of Tachyon, is the name that Taki earned as her speed in the colony's combat simulations was unrivaled. She moved with the speed of a Tachyon particle. Raven earned her name for a very specific reason as well. I uncovered something pretty unique about Raven on one of my most recent playthroughs that I will share in one of my next videos, so I'm going to hold off on saying the reason behind her name, but I promise you it's a good one. For the sake of this argument here and now, just know that Raven earned her name most likely when she began to use her abilities/powers in the colony's combat simulations. Remember, Raven had this name before her turn into an alpha, which did produce a Raven-like husk around her body frame. There is a reason why, but I don't want to spoil why that is. So just know that she did have the name Raven before turning into an alpha. I promise I'll explain it in a future video that I plan to make revealing some hidden revelations about the game. Okay, let's get back to this argument here and now about the angels and their different names. There is also Anis and Ripley. The name Anis is an Arabic name that means companion. Perhaps she was always Raven's right-hand girl, glued at the hip together, her road dog. And then Ripley, I've got nothing for Ripley other than the obvious alien association. We do know movies exist in the Stellar Blade universe. One of the Legionnaire's memory sticks in 807 speaks of similarities he noticed from a movie he once saw. Maybe the 2nd Airborne Squadron watched the alien movies in their downtime on the colony and began calling one of their sisters Ripley after seeing Sigourney Weaver's portrayal of the badass sci-fi heroine. There are also the Artemis units that provide support with engineering type tasks and interface with data. There is Iberus, likely named after the white flower of the same name. Perhaps this Artemis support unit liked the flower, or her white-colored hair made other squad members begin to call her Iberus, and the name stuck. And finally, there is Lily. Besides the biblical affiliation, there is never any other trace as to why Eve's BFF has her specific name. These squad members all have individual names that they've earned or were given for some reason, kind of like nicknames. Why then does Eve not have one? Her most prominent trait is that she is caring. Why does she not have a name such as love, sympathy, or compassion? We know that squad members have their names before they dive to Earth. The prequel comic confirms this for Wave 7, and the first legacy recording from Raven confirms this for Wave 2. A plausible answer of why Eve has the name Eve, even though all angels are technically Eve Airborne Squad members, is that Mothersphere made it so. With her ability to read the future, or more accurately, arrive at a predicted outcome based on her vast accumulation of data and knowledge that make up her existence as an artificial superintelligence, she has predicted that the most capable angel of Wave 7, the one she has designated as being capable of completing the Eve protocol, will be successful on this wave. Mothersphere doesn't know how. In fact, in the Making New Memories ending, she tells Eve she is disappointed at the merging of Andro-Eidos and organic human DNA. If we imagine back to when Mothersphere created Wave 7 in the colony, prior to their dive to Earth, Mothersphere simply is aware that this wave and the angel she designed with greater capabilities will be the one to complete the Eve protocol, and has therefore made it so that she has the name Eve on an individual level. Mothersphere likely proclaims this when Eve is born on the colony. By the time we see Eve and Taki in the prequel comic, some time has passed after their birth on the colony. Eve has the name, and the two have developed a unique bond. To Taki, because she is aware of Mothersphere's proclamation of naming this individual, she is Eve. All members of the 7th Airborne Squadron also know her as Eve. But to someone else, unaware of Mothersphere's likely proclamation that this member of the Eve Airborne Squadron hold the name on an individual basis as well, they simply see all angels that fall from the colony as members of an entire group, a squadron of like combat units.
Would you kindly introduce me to this lady?
Of course, what's the word? Oh yeah, Angel.
Angel. That's the unofficial name for members of the Eve Airborne Squad.
I'm Eve.
Number 2. The Nanosuits. Okay, number 2 on this list was never actually said by Eve. This is more of a what-if scenario. Let me just jump into it and explain what Eve could have said. Unfortunately, there was a large amount of planned content in the form of cutscenes and dialogue that did not make it into the game due to budget and time constraints. Since launch, it has come out that there was even an explanation of why Eve collects all of the nanosuits. Kim Hyung-tae confirmed that early on in the campaign, after Eve collects a number of outfits, there was a planned cutscene where she admires herself wearing a nanosuit, likes the way it looks on her, and makes a comment. Early on in the game, Eve ventures through Eidos 7, so I can imagine once Eve gets to Patelos Plaza and picks up a few of the nanosuit designs, there could have been a cutscene of Eve running past a wall of glass while catching a glimpse of herself, followed by the angel making an expression of awe at seeing her outfitted in the nanosuit. So what would Eve have said? Why would she have said it? And what would have been the repercussions of such a statement? This early on in the campaign, Eve is not as expressive. She might have said a short remark of a few words or less, or maybe even something quicker or a gasp. So let's imagine we did get this cutscene and heard Eve say something like, "Oh damn." Well, she wouldn't say that. She might have said, "Oh, I like this one." The reason why Eve would be making a statement like this is so intriguing to me. During the review cycle of the game, there were quite a few reviewers who called Eve bland. I can understand why these remarks were made. Early on in the game, Eve is not developed in this area. She is a fish out of water, experiencing many human interactions with people who are not Airborne Squad members for the first time. She's more like an observer instead of a dynamic, expressive character, particularly early on in the game. So such statements by reviewers are fair. However, I would argue there was a good amount of character growth in her over time that led to a full and developed character arc. But putting something like this in the game that was originally cut, a remark that shows Eve acknowledging and being aware of how good she looks in a particular nanosuit, would have done much to quell the remarks of so many of those reviewers who spoke about her dull personality, and added in richness as a character for her. And then, what would the repercussions of this statement early on in the game have been? It would have been amazing, I tell you. There could have been an evolution of these cutscenes throughout the campaign. If one existed early on in the game in Eidos 7, we could have gotten a handful more of these cutscenes, Eve admiring herself and making fun, playful comments about just how much she likes the nanosuits. Her expressions could have been designed by the dev team to be echoes of what we as the gamer might say upon seeing Eve in a particular nanosuit, and they could have on a meta level paid homage to Kim Hyung-tae and the design team's excellently tailored nanosuits. With almost 40 of them found in each run of the campaign, the possibilities could have been endless. Yeah, it's too bad we didn't get this, as it would have been an incredibly fun thing to see that showed a more spirited and lively side to the angel that was sometimes absent throughout the campaign. Number 1. Eve the Empath. The Matrix 11 hideout serves as one of the key moments in Eve's character arc. In the previous section of this top 5 list, I mentioned how some gamers interpreted Eve's calm, straightforward, and rote, soldier-like responses, particularly early on in the game, as an indicator that the angel was bland or simply one note. Their arguments were that Eve did not have an identity besides her looks. There was nothing that you could point to and say, yeah, that's what Stellar Blade's heroine is known for. While some of video game icons immediately exude one or a handful of identities, Kratos being one that has a dual identity of stoicism mixed with rage, Jill Valentine is probably the most determined and resourceful protagonist from the Resident Evil franchise, and Jin, the Ghost of Tsushima, developed an in-game reputation as a force of unspeakable power that instilled unimaginable fear in his enemies. Eve's identity was never meant to be something superhuman or of that nature. Sure, she is a highly advanced android killing machine with incredible beta skills and burst abilities, but her identity is tied to the question that Kim Hyung-tae wanted to answer. The question centered around one of the central themes of the game: what does it mean to be human? Over the course of the campaign, we witness Eve, an advanced machine-like weapon housed with an artificial general intelligence, develop humanity. The moment inside the Matrix 11 hideout is one of the key events that allow Eve to achieve this. By seeing what the Andro 8 humans did while in their hideout, Eve is seeing several sides to humanity she is not yet aware of. But with her opening query upon entering into the underground space,
From the looks of it, this place has been abandoned for a long time.
Then why do I feel warm?
it is apparent that Mothersphere created something unique within Eve. Eve is not stating the question about literal warmth. Earlier in Matrix 11, after the Stalker boss fight, Eve comes to an Airborne Squadron campsite and puts her hands out towards the fire to warm her body. This instance shows Eve warming herself literally with actual fire. Inside Matrix 11's hideout, there is no such fire. What Mothersphere has done is seemingly give Eve's empathic response a boost. Eve is highly in tune with the feelings of individuals. She can feel Belial's rage.
It just seemed different than the ones fused with machines.
Was it?
I felt emotions, strong ones, maybe more than I've ever felt.
Emotions?
The emotions, they weren't ordinary. Hatred.
She reaches out to the Andro 8 that are the amalgamation of the demo crawler and promises mercy towards them.
My goodness.
What have you done to yourself? I see all that pain. I'll put an end to it.
And she displays an unmistakable understanding that her bond with Lily goes beyond words multiple times during the game. Here in Matrix 11, it appears Eve can feel the residual warmth, the love, and the connection the Andro 8 humans that hid here shared with one another. Can all Andro 8 do this? Oracle displays this ability as well when he is handed Taki's memory stick in the presence chamber, when he states that he can feel Raven's presence on it. Oracle is a highly empathic person though. His path of redemption is born when others come to his rescue. Their compassion and actions of saving him give him a new purpose, and he becomes the leader of Zion. His care for the citizens of Zion is born out of the empathy they originally showed towards him when they rescued him from the rubble of the colony extinction. Eve and Oracle seem to be the only two individuals of the game with this ability. Here in the hideout, Eve feels the kind-natured love of the deceased individuals scattered around. She learns of the warmth that human beings showed to one another through specific items. The guitar teaches Eve about courtship and romantic love.
That's called a guitar. It's an instrument ancient people played to try to attract mates.
The piano reveals how humans found comfort in music.
You said this was a piano, right?
Yeah, music was an invaluable source of comfort for people here.
Wine or alcohol can cause such delight it could be compared to a gift from God.
Is this a water bottle?
No. This is the last gift a god ever thought to give us. Oh, Bacchus.
And the teddy bear, although old, triggers Eve's olfactory senses, resulting in a smell that is nice to her.
A doll without an owner.
It's old, but it smells nice.
What a curious thing to say.
And finally, we witness the payoff of all these responses from Eve. As she ventures upward, all this culminates inside the room containing the memory sticks. Within this final room, the picture frames, candles, and kneeling deceased androidos have inspired Eve to do the one thing she knows how to do to honor all of the dead humans. She sends their memories to Mothersphere. This act is the androidos' custom, and in doing so, it shows Eve doing quite a humane act. In our real human society, soldiers never leave their own behind. Humans bury their dead or burn their ashes. We don't simply leave dead ones out to rot. We perform a specific act to let our loved ones that have passed away rest in peace. Eve has only spent no more than 5 to 10 minutes in the hideout, and she was able to experience the warmth shared by the ones inside. She displays her humanity, the identity that Eve as a video game icon, beyond just her looks in the stunning nanosuits, will surely become to be known for, and honors them by sending their memories to live on forever. Okay guys, that's it for this one. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this top 5 or anything else Stellar Blade related. I'll jump down into the comments to keep up the discussion with you all there. See you on the next one, and may your memories live on forever.